Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody can hear my voice and see the presentation on the screen. Okay. So today we are going to do a quick and simple exercise of sentence correction / error spotting, where on the screen I will be giving you a sentence split in parts. You have to read the sentence and find if there is any grammatical or idiomatic error in it, right? The error could be either the way the grammar has been employed or the way a particular idiom or phrase has been used. And if there is any error, it will be only in one part of the sentence. So in case you find multiple errors, you will have to go with the most obvious, the most serious error to correct. And that part obviously is your answer. And it's possible that there is no error in the sentence too. So if there are any punctuation errors, then we will be ignoring them. No, Aditya. So today we will be doing all the examples together. I'm not going to give it to you and make you do it, right? We'll do all the examples together, right? Next time onwards, we'll be, I'll see this exercise. Let's just do it like that. Fine. So, but in this particular exercise, I don't want you to just spot the error. I also want you to tell me what the error is and how to correct it. So we'll be doing both error spotting and sentence correction in this, right? We will not limit ourselves to just saying which part has the error, but you'll also have to tell me how exactly the error can be corrected. So we will learn both error spotting and sentence correction in the same exercise, right? Okay, chal. So let's start with the first one. I advised my boss to engage 2 coolies instead of 1 because the packages were too much heavy for a single coolie. Where is the error and how do I correct it? So just telling me which part has the error is not enough. You'll have to tell me how it has to be corrected. Okay. A lot of you are giving me the right answer and the correct correction as well. Excellent. So obviously the error is in part C, right? You do not say too much heavy. And the easiest way to correct something is when you can eliminate something. So we do not say because the packages were too much heavy. You can simply say because the packages were too heavy, right? They're so heavy that they cannot be lifted. When we say too heavy, it literally implies they are so heavy that they cannot be lifted. One cannot lift it. So we say it is too heavy for one. So that much is not required. We eliminate the much. Right? You got that, Kavya? We do not say too much heavy. We'll say it is too heavy for one. So we need 2. Okay. Next one. Balram was one of those great sons of India who has earned everlasting fame for scientific researches. So where is the error and what correction needs to be made? Very few of you are getting the correction part right. Some of you are able to tell me the wrong part. But what is the correction required? That is a problematic area. So, who has earned the everlasting fame refers to whom? The everlasting fame is earned by whom? Not Balram. That is the classic mistake. The everlasting fame refers to the achievement of the great sons of India. So when there are multiple sons, we do not say who has earned everlasting fame, right? So obviously the error is in part B, but the correction is who has should be replaced by who have. Balram was one of those great sons of India who have earned everlasting fame for scientific researches. So the error is in part B, but the correction, it is not who has, it should be who have earned. And scientific researches is absolutely correct. Research is when it is singular. If there is more than one topic on which the research has been done, we obviously say researches. Although we don't hear that word commonly, but technically it is not wrong, right? So if it was simply error correction, a lot of you would have got it. But if it was a sentence correction exercise, then it would have been problematic. Correcting this sentence was a bit difficult. Never mind. Moving on to the next one. While going to school yesterday, Ratan remembered that he had not taken his homework with him. Okay, only Zarna has got it right so far. But what is the correction required, Zarna? Do you know that? Majority of you are getting it wrong. Okay, Amanbir also got it right. But what correction? At least you have a sense of where the error is. Yash and Sonia also got it. नो प्रणव डिड नॉट के साथ हमेशा प्रेजेंट टेंस आएगा. डिड नॉट टेक ही आएगा. वी विल नॉट से डिड नॉट टुक. डिड नॉट टेक इज राइट. So guys, majority of you are not getting it, and it's a very very minute thing. The point is the error is in part A, right? The error is in part A. But what is the correction? While going to school yesterday, you have to remember that while he was going to school yesterday is required. See, whenever a sentence begins with things like while, when, this, it, or a conjunction like that, there should be no confusion. Who was going to school yesterday? So while he was going to school yesterday, Ratan remembered that he had not taken his homework with him. Right? It's a very, very minor point, but nevertheless, for grammatical correctness, you require that. Whenever it starts with a conjunction like while, when, this, it, or something like that, it has to be, there has to be clarity on who the subject is. So it's not the day before, Aditya. Yesterday is fine. But it should be while he was going to school yesterday, Ratan remembered. Right? It's a very, very minor thing. When speaking in ordinary day-to-day speech, we normally would not say, we would say the way it is written. That's why many of you thought there is no error. But according to the Pakka rules of grammar, that definitely is an error, and this is it. I hope everybody understood it now. These are the minute things that sometimes they might check in the examination. Right? The technical aspects of English are checked. Okay. This is easy. Why don't you told him and clarify all pending matters? I, in fact, literally told you the rule in the previous question. Whenever the word did not is used, the verb which comes with it must be in the present form. Told is the past tense. Don't you, right? Did not, do not. When some verb is used with it, it has to be in the present form. So why don't you tell him and clarify all pending matters is the way the sentence must be corrected. Why don't you tell him and clarify all pending matters? That's the correction of the sentence. This one I think was pretty easy. Most of you did get it right. Very good. Chalo. Next one. No one will deny that Sheila is one of the most well-prepared girl in our college. There's a simple logic that if you understand, you will immediately get where the correction is. Yes, Dhruvi. No, Aditya. Dhruvi got the answer also right. Zarna also got it. Yes. Yes, Namra, that's right. Mitali, no. Yashvi, no. Yes, Mayuk and Rahi also got it. Okay, so look at it carefully. Sheila is one of the, right? She is one among many. Among many who? Among those who are well prepared. So well prepared girls. Sheila is one among many girls. So obviously, C part has the error. No one will deny that Sheila is one of the most well prepared girls in our college. She's one of many girls. So that should be in plural. And hence the error is definitely in part C. Tamanna, no one will deny the present form is not incorrect. Did everybody get this? If you think there is other error, you can ask. But here the only error is girl. It should be girls. Okay. Next. If you will do as I say, you will get suitable compensation for it. Minor correction required. Yes, Nilay, that's right. Others are getting it. But what is the correction? Yes, Mayuk also got it. Zarna also got it. Hardi, 2 answers. EA क्या होता है? Yes, majority of you are getting it right. So if you will do as I say, you will get suitable compensation for it. The will is actually not required. If you do as I say, you will get suitable compensation for it. Right? That will is erroneous. Whenever there is a condition, you will use simple present tense in the condition and the future tense in the main. If you do not use the future form, you will do is the future form. With a condition, we don't require the future form. If is followed by a condition. So if you do as I say, you will get suitable compensation for it. Right? This rule is important and you can remember it. Whenever there is something which is part of a conditional, like if, then the conditional always is in the present form. Okay. As soon as the headmaster entered the school, all the boys approached him and report the matter. Yes, easy. Most of you got it right. Obviously. So this is parallelism of verbs. When multiple verbs are used, all of them should be in the same grammatic or same verb form. Entered and approached are both in the past tense. So report should also be in the past form. So as soon as the headmaster entered the school, all the boys approached him and reported the matter. All the verbs which are used should be in the past form. I hope everybody got this one. Okay. Next one. Shan could not go to the cinema for his sister was not well. Yes. Shubhankar, minor correction is required. Others, yes. So, Shan could not go to the cinema for his sister was not well. For is not a good condition, right? The best way to put this is Shan could not go to the cinema because his sister was not well, or alternatively you can write Shan could not go to the cinema as his sister was not well. Either one of them is acceptable as a correction. Either one of them is acceptable as a correction. Right? Okay. Since no Shashwat. Since is actually conditional for time. Since the beginning of time, the sun has risen in the east. Something like that. Here it's a simple condition. So because or as. You get that? When is for used? For is also used as a conditional, but let me think about it. They lost the war for lack of. It's more poetic. In straightforward grammar, because and as are the simpler form. For is more used in a poetic sense. Right? In straightforward grammatical English, as far as prose is concerned, because or as should be used. Okay. People visiting the zoo are amused by the monkeys' play in the cages. Okay. So, people visiting the zoo are amused by the monkeys' play. No. By the monkeys playing. Right? It is the possessive. So, monkeys, the apostrophe indicates something belonging to the monkeys. So, playing, the ing form has to be used. Right? Okay. Were amused. Why should it be past? If they aren't people still amused? Right? It's an ongoing activity. Right? So why should I say the sun rose in the east? It happens every day. So the sun rises in the east. So they are amused. Even now it happens. They're just stating a fact. So why should it be in the past tense? No, that apostrophe is necessary, Rahi, because that indicates the possessive, the playing of the monkeys, right? That's what it means. The apostrophe indicates possessive, and that's why the ing. You get that? The apostrophe goes by the rule. Okay. The bike skidded off the road and crashed into the ditch because Suresh was driving faster. Rahi, which rule? You are referring to the previous question? Okay, the rule which is given, see, a noun is used in the possessive case, right? The noun monkeys, that apostrophe indicates the possessive. So the gerund is the ing form. Anything with ing is the gerund form. So whenever a possessive is used, the gerund form of the verb must be used. Do you get that? Right? Okay. This one. Whenever we say faster, we are using the comparative degree. And when using the comparative degree, there must be a second thing to compare it with. But here, I'm not comparing his speed. I'm simply saying he was fast. So, he was driving fast is enough. I need not say he was driving faster, right? It's a simple sentence. And faster is comparative, which is wrong. So, you simply put fast in place of faster. Next one. The number of people applying were so large that the college had to stop issuing application forms. The number of people applying were so large that the college had to stop issuing application forms. Many of you getting it right with the correct correction. Number, you got the part right but not the correction. Okay, what was large? What was large? The number of people, right? It is the number which was large. Number of people. So ultimately, can I say the number was large? And number is singular. We don't say number were large. Numbers were large. But it's a singular thing. Number. So we have to say number was so large. So the number of people applying was so large that the college had to stop issuing application forms. Righto. The teacher asked the students if every one of them were interested in going on an excursion to Diu. Again, whenever we say every or each, they are considered as singular forms. So the teacher asked the students if every one of them was interested in going on an excursion to Diu, right? Everyone is acceptable, but it has to be used as a singular form. So the teacher asked the students if every one of them was interested in going on an excursion. You get that? You go on a going to, nahi Hardik, you go on a picnic. शाश्वत, जब if correct है तो मैं जबरदस्ती उसको whether क्यों करूं? Don't make any changes when it is not required. Yes, Aditya, anyone can be used, but it will not make any it will not improve the sentence much because everyone is not wrong. Anyone sounds better, but grammatically everyone is acceptable. Yashvi, I never said we can't use anyone. I'm saying everyone is good enough. Amanbir. See, a lot of you are saying anyone. The point is, everyone is acceptable here. So I need not make a change. Keeping it as everyone is acceptable. The only point is, when everyone or each is used, it has to be was. The verb is as a singular one. So everyone or each of them was interested, not were. Yes, Aditya, multiple corrections. Like in the beginning also I said, only one correction will be required. Okay, Millie is asking if it was all instead of everyone. The teacher asked the students if all of them, yes, all will be used as a plural, but every is used as a singular. Millie, if all was there, then definitely it is plural. Right? Amanbir, if it was given that if every one of them was interested, I don't need any correction then. The teacher asked the students if every one of them was interested in going on an excursion. Sounds wrong, but grammatically it is acceptable. So in that case, I would say no correction is required. Chalo. It is a job wherein neither knowledge nor skill are needed. Just as every or each is used in the singular, similarly neither nor are considered singulars. So it is a job wherein neither knowledge nor skill is needed. We consider neither nor as singulars. So it is a job wherein neither knowledge is needed nor skill is needed. You can split the sentence and check. We say neither is needed nor is needed. So neither nor will take the singular form is. The old man as well as his daughters has gone to Mysore for a wedding. The old man as well as his daughters has gone to Mysore for a wedding. Practically everybody is answering me wrong. Practically everybody is giving me the wrong answer. Guys, now this is the funda of clauses. If I said the old man and his daughters, the and makes it a singular subject. The old man and his daughters, all of them are part of the subject. So of course have gone. We need the plural verb. But when you say as well as his daughters, in this case, the daughters are not part of the subject. Right? When you say as well as, that removes the daughters as being part of the subject. So the old man has gone to Mysore for a wedding, and that is technically correct. So in this sentence there is no error. Right? Although it sounds funny, but grammatically speaking, whenever we put as well as, it is not considered as part of the main subject. Here the subject is only the old man. That is singular. So we will take a singular verb has, which is correct. So you do not need any correction in this sentence. Did everybody get it? One of the tricky ones where majority of the students will get it right, will get it wrong. Right? Chalo. There was a number of meetings which produced few decisions of practical value. Ah, yes. So what was there? Number of meetings. So we are talking about multiple meetings. So you cannot say there was singular meeting. There were multiple meetings. So obviously the error in part A, there were a number of meetings which produced few decisions of practical value. There were a number of meetings which produced few decisions of practical value, because the verb is associated with meetings. Shashwat, instead of changing was, can we change it to meeting? There was a, would you say a number of meeting? A number of meeting? Shashwat, does a number, no, a number of meeting doesn't make sense. There was a meeting, but then that is a major change. You are changing multiple words here. And remember, correction always should be done with minimal changes. If I want to keep the was, I have to do a huge change. So, no. Do you get that? Okay, Vanshika, previous one. Previous one. The old man along with his daughters has gone to Mysore. Along with his daughters also is a clause. So it is not part of the main subject. Right? Okay. A tallest man I have ever seen lives near the house where I am living. Oh, very good. Most of you are getting it right. Perfectly right. So, when you are saying tallest, that means you and in this case, you clearly know whom you are talking about, right? You are very specifically, very definitely talking about a particular person. So we use the definitive article the. The tallest man or the tallest man I have ever seen lives near the house where I am living. A tallest man nahi. A is when it's an indefinite article. When you don't know, then you say a. A boy came to visit me. I don't know who the boy is. Then I would say a boy came to visit me. But if I know specifically whom I'm referring to, then I can say the intelligent boy came to visit me. So when you know something specific, we use the definitive article the. So in this case, tallest man, you definitely know he's the tallest man. So the tallest man I have ever seen lives near the house where I am living. If you do not allow me to take leave, then I shall be forced to take drastic measures. A very classic rule, even I was not much aware of this rule. No. To take leave means to take a holiday. To take leave means to take permission to go away. To take leave means to exit, sort of. Not a leave. You will not say to take a leave. No. To take, I take your leave means I ask your permission to go away. So to take leave means to take permission to go away. Okay. So the error is in actually part C. And the rule is when if is used, then is not required. If you do not allow me to take leave, I shall be forced to take drastic measures. Whenever if is used, then is not required. Right? This was there in 10th grammar. Oh, good. Good then if you remember it. I was not much aware of this rule. I also found it a bit difficult to come across this rule. Shubhankar, no. That's the classic mistake which we have been making. If along with if we have been using then grammatically we have been making a mistake. If you do not allow me to take leave, I shall be forced to take drastic measures. In written or spoken English, if and then, nope. Sure. The teacher advised the boy who had failed in the examination that not to attempt it again until he had time to prepare for it properly. Oh, good, good, good. Most of you getting it right. No, Dvija, simple past tense is fine there. Most of you getting it right. So obviously the error is in part C. The teacher advised the boy who had failed in the examination not to attempt it again. That is not required. This is an imperative sentence, right? It's a statement. So when it's an imperative statement, it is not a question, it is not an exclamation, it is a straightforward fact. So that is not required in this sentence. Right? Did everybody get it? Has, where Yashvi? Where should the has come? In D? No. See, the teacher advised who had failed. Past tense. So had time mein aayega na? Parallelism of verbs. All the verbs need to be in the past tense. Advised is past, failed is past. So until he had time to prepare for it properly. Had is proper there. There is no mistake. The had is correct. It should not be replaced by has. Because all these things is about the past. So he had is proper. Got it? Did you get that, Yashvi? Okay. Chal. We should always side with those who are true and unselfish and work for others. No, Rahi. not many of you getting it. Okay, Hardi, but what's the correction? नहीं, you work for others. मैं दूसरों के लिए काम करना. Work with others is to cooperate. Work for others means to help others. Work for the benefit of others. So work for is proper. Okay. So here parallelism of verbs. When verbs are used, they should be used in the same form. So are true is actually a verb. So those who are true and those who work for others. Right? It cannot be work for others. It is who work for others. So we should always side with those who are true and unselfish and who work for others. And who work for others. That's the correction, Hardi. Those who are true and who work for others. No? Who said, Aditya? Who said the usage of two ands is bad? True and unselfish is a pair. And the second and, so it's not true, unselfish. True and unselfish is taken as a single thing. No, Aditya, that's what I say. True and unselfish. It's like saying Procter and Gamble. So, if I say P&G is Procter and Gamble, so I've worked for Procter, Gamble and Tata. Or would I say I've worked for Procter and Gamble and Tata? Let's say I work for two companies. The first company I worked for is Procter and Gamble. The second company I worked for is Tata. I can't say I worked for Procter, Gamble and Tata because Procter and Gamble is the complete name. So here true and unselfish is a single thing. It's just the example which I'm giving. But true and unselfish, they are qualities which come together. So who are true and unselfish, that is qualities, and who work for others. Because true, unselfish are qualities and work for others is not. They are two separate things. Yes, so true and unselfish is a single group. That's a group of qualities. And who work for others. Who are true and unselfish and who work for others. Right? Okay. Page after page of the Gita were read and it gave great consolation to him in his illness. Most of you getting it. Kavya, what do you think should be the correction then? Why pages after pages? No, you read one page after the other, right? You don't read multiple pages at the same time. You read one page after the other. So you don't say pages after pages. Say page after page. But because it is page after page and you read one page at a time, you can't read in plural. So page after page of the Gita was read. You can read only one page at a time. So page after page of the Gita was read and it gave great consolation to him in his illness. Did you get that? Right? Good. Okay. Hardly had he went out of the class when a mob of angry students attacked him. I think this is pretty straightforward. Hardly had he went. Classic mistake. Hardly had he. When we use the past participle form, it should be simple, right? Hardly had he gone out of the class when a mob of angry students attacked him. You don't use the went past form. Had के साथ present form आएगा. जैसे did के साथ भी I've already said. Did went नहीं आएगा. Did go. So had went नहीं आएगा. Had gone. Hardly had he gone. Went नहीं आएगा. You'll say gone. Vanshika, did you get it? ध्यान नहीं. When is hardly had he gone out of the class when a mob of students attacked him. Okay. The essay should not exceed more than 300 words. Classic error. This is a classic error. Correct. Okay. So you do not fall down. You just fall. You do not enter into a classroom. You just enter a classroom. Similarly, exceed means more than. So with exceed, more than is not required. Exceed itself means more than. So the essay should not exceed 300 words. That's it. The more than part is actually superfluous. The essay should not exceed 300 words. Right? We do not say he is more smarter. We say he is smarter because smarter means more than. So exceed itself means more than. So the essay should not exceed 300 words. When I called at him yesterday, he was busy writing a book on sericulture. Okay. You guys will make the sentence correction in a slightly different way, and older people like me will make this correction in a different way. It just shows the difference in our generation. The way you correct this sentence tells me a lot about which generation the person belongs to. Obviously, the error obviously is in part A. That much is correct, right? At is wrong. You guys will say, when I called him yesterday, he was busy writing a book on sericulture. Because for you, calling somebody means calling on the phone. But for the older generation, calling on somebody is going to meet a person. So and on the phone, you do not know what the other person is doing, right? If you call somebody and the person is busy, how do you know what he is doing? It's only when you physically meet a person, you know what he's doing. So when I called on him yesterday, he was busy writing a book on sericulture. Technically, on should replace at. Right? Logically speaking, if you call somebody on the phone, you may not know why he is busy. But when you call on somebody, means you visit somebody, you know why he is busy. So logically speaking, called on him. Grammatically speaking, removing at is okay. Mayuk is asking, if you don't mind me asking, how old do you think I am? How old do you think I am? Jesus Christ. You guys think I'm that old? Ah! Hey Bhagwan, Hardi Dvija is very close. Hardi gets few bonus points from me. Vanshika, Namra, Rahi, सबको डंडे पड़ने वाले हैं. Vanshika is now giving me lesser than Dumbledore. हाँ, he was at least 150 years old, I guess. Priyanka is trying to play it safe, saying I'm 18. उतना छोटा बच्चा भी नहीं हूँ. I was 18 way before you were even born. Chalo, never ask a woman her age and a man his salary. But nowadays, never ask anybody their age and never ask anybody their salary. Just suffice to say that I had completed my at least basic education way before you guys were born. But not very far. Chalo, I'll leave it at that. Right? Did you get this one? Keep you guessing. I'm not going to answer that question, or maybe I'll make a mathematical question out of it. Chalo. Next one. Mr. Das is planning to settle in Pune as soon as he will retire in August next year. Yes. Most of you are getting this one right. Very nice. Right. So obviously, will retire to nahi aayega. So Mr. Das is planning to settle in Pune as soon as he retires in August next year. That's it. Majority of you got it right. So nice. Okay. Moving on. One should always take care of his health. Hashtag toxic masculinity. Hashtag patriarchy. Right? See, there, Amanbir, is plural and one is singular. So one should always take care of their health is a bit of a problem because you're starting with a singular subject and then using a plural. The easier way, one should always take care of one's health, right? No need of his or her. Don't assume any gender when it is not given in the beginning. So one should always take care of one's health. That's it. Right? Vanshika is asking me, is this wrong? One should always take care of his health. Yes. Yes. Because one is gender neutral and his is masculine. When gender is not specified in the beginning, you can't assume it in the later part. See, even grammar was actually pretty much gender neutral. We have started using it, or rather I should say misusing it, making it male biased. Because technically grammar also says when you are starting with a gender neutral subject, then you cannot assume any gender. So, I'll give you another example. The child was crying because he lost his toy is wrong. You should say the child was crying because it lost its toy. Right? Generally people say it to no, animals ke liye use karte hain, but nahi. A child is gender neutral as a subject. So वहाँ पे he or she use नहीं कर सकते. You have to use it, which is also gender neutral. So using the same funda, one should always take care of one's health. Okay. While going through the report yesterday, I find several factual mistakes. Can you find the factual mistake in this particular sentence? Yeah. You were going through the report yesterday. So whatever happened yesterday, past. So yesterday I found several factual mistakes. The activity was done yesterday. So the tense needs to be in the past. So I found several factual mistakes. Yep, easy one. I lived in a 200 years old house in Calicut. Now this is what we call an idiomatic error. Yes. Whenever you are using a number to describe age, the word year is used in singular, not in plural. So I lived in a 200-year-old house in Calicut. Years is not used, right? Whenever a number is used to describe age, the word year is used in singular form, not plural. just like a 2000 rupee note. Right. He is the strongest and very tall boy in the whole school. Correct. When two adjectives are describing the same thing, the adjectives need to be matching each other. So when you're saying strongest, then and very tall boy, no, he is the strongest and tallest boy in the whole school. So he's the strongest and tallest boy in the whole school. The very is not used. And strongest, tallest. Yes. He's the strongest and the tallest. Either way grammatically is correct. Whether you use the in front of whether you use the definitive article the in front of tallest or not, that's optional. Aditya, one of the tallest boy, he is the strongest and very tall boy. If you say one of the tallest, then it has to be boys. Right? The word boy implies the only one. If it was that he's among the tallest, then the word boy cannot be in singular. It has to be in plural. Right? So because of the singular boy in part C, one of the tallest नहीं हो सकता. Right. The headmaster offered me coffee, but I denied it. This is idiomatic usage. Some coffee. No, coffee is fine. Offered me is correct. Now, here the way a particular word has been used is incorrect. If you are accused of something, you deny it. But when you're offered something and you want to say no, the proper word is to refuse it. An offer is either accepted or refused. You don't deny an offer. Right? So, the headmaster offered me coffee, but I refused it. You don't deny an offer, you refuse an offer. Again, rejected is impolite. When somebody is offering you something in a social context, you don't reject it because rejection is rude. Right? Somebody offers you a beverage, you refuse it. You simply say no. To reject something is harsh. Offers are not rejected, offers are refused. If you want to show that it is strict, if you want to show that there is some rudeness, then fine, you can say it was rejected. But here it's a social thing. So you don't reject it, you refuse it. Right? Decline. No. Decline me. See, offer ke saath, offer is either accepted or rejected. That's the proper word to use. The credit card was declined. Decline means actually something which goes in a downward direction. Right? The word decline does not go with offer. For offer, see, there are words which are always paired with each other as antonyms. So for an offer, either it is accepted or it is refused. Rejection is too strong. In a social context, you refuse an offer. Chandan's salary is much larger than Mohit. This is one of the most commonly asked type of errors in exams. very few are getting it. Meshwa, yes. Someone, Yashvi also, yes. Yes, Aditya. Manchika, correct. Meshwa, correct. See, this is called apples and oranges. You cannot compare two different things. Chandan's salary cannot be compared with Mohit. It can only be compared with Mohit's salary. Mohit is a human being. Chandan's salary is a figure, an amount. How can the amount be larger than a person? Right? Technically, either we say Chandan's salary is much larger than Mohit's salary, or Chandan's salary is much larger than that of Mohit. But you cannot compare a salary with a person. Right? Saying that a salary is more is fine. But the biggest error is the comparison. A salary cannot be compared with a person. Of course, if Mohit's or than that of Mohit was given, then larger than no salaries. But yes, salaries can be large. Salaries can be large. So technically, larger is not wrong. Right? If you delete much, Chandan's salary is larger than Mohit. You have not corrected the main error. Chandan's salary is larger. No, much. See, if Chandan's salary is 5,000 and Mohit's salary is 4,900, then we can say Chandan's salary is larger. If Mohit's salary is 5,000 and Chandan's salary is 5 lakhs, then it is much larger. So that much actually has a meaning. Eliminating that makes a difference to the meaning. So eliminating much is not correct. Shubhankar. Right? Okay. How can both much and Namra, did you get it? Larger than 5,000 is larger than 4,900. 50 lakhs is much larger than 500. Okay. Mayuk, if Mohit's is written, then that's fair enough. You don't need to, you can omit the word salary after the apostrophe. Chandan's salary is much larger than Mohit's. That is fair enough. That is correct. Right? You can simply say larger than Mohit's. That's fair enough. Okay. More than one person were late for the meeting. Aditya, in such error spotting, which one? The previous one? Whether to mark C or D. So much larger than Mohit. No, you cannot compare with Mohit. So Mohit is the wrong part, right? Got it? The comparison is done with Mohit. So part D contains Mohit. So that is the wrong part. Mohit's या that of Mohit होना चाहिए था वहाँ पे. You cannot compare with Mohit. So obviously the part D is wrong. A salary is being compared with a person. So the error is there. Okay. More than one person was late for the meeting. More than one person was late for the meeting. Right. Only 3/4 of the work are completed and we are left with no time. Whenever certain numbers are used, they are always taken as singular. So only 3/4 of the work is completed. Half the work are nahi hota. Half the work is done. 3/4 of the work is completed. 3/4 is absolutely correct. We don't say 3/4 of the work. 3/4. 3/4 is proper English. Nowadays, not many people use it. We just say 3/4 of the work. But in proper English, 3/4 of the work should be written. That's perfectly fine. The English defeated French in the Battle of Waterloo. Without the definitive article, French refers to the language. The English refers to the English people. people cannot defeat a language. People defeat people in wars. So the English defeated the French in the Battle of Waterloo. The English defeated the French in the Battle of Waterloo. Factually, we need not worry, but yeah, General Nelson, under the leadership of Nelson, Napoleon was defeated at the Battle of Waterloo. Namra. Horatio Nelson was the commander of the British forces, if I remember my history correctly. And after the Battle of Waterloo, I think Napoleon was banished to the island of Elba, if I'm not mistaken. Napoleon Bonaparte, the French general, was banished to the Isle of Elba after his loss. Yeah. Chalo. The 3 last volumes of this encyclopedia are badly printed. Just saying it out loud like that gives me jitters. How bad that sentence is. Right? Just read it and you will get the error. The 3 last volumes. You don't say the 3 last volumes. The last 3 volumes. The last 3 volumes of this encyclopedia are badly printed. You don't say 3 last volumes. Right? The last 3 volumes is plural. There can only be 1 last, but there can be 3 volumes. So because of the plural volumes, 3 has to be close to it. The last 3 volumes. A large number of buildings are coming up in our cities. A large number of buildings are coming up in our cities. If you think of yourself as only a person of a single city, then you would say cities nahi aa sakta. But if you are the Prime Minister of the country, or you think yourself as a national citizen, then obviously multiple cities में multiple buildings आ सकते हैं. Technically, there is no error in this sentence. There's nothing wrong in saying a large number of buildings are coming up in our cities. Right? This sentence is correct from a particular point of view. Grammatically, it can be right. Aditya, national point of view, yes. Chala. I enjoyed during my stay in the village with my friend. Right. So if you eliminate during, I enjoyed my stay in the village with my friend. Fair enough. The alternate which is given here, it says I enjoyed myself during my stay in the village with my friend. And that's better because a verb like enjoyed needs to be followed by a reflexive pronoun. What did you enjoy? I enjoyed myself during my stay in the village with my friend. Whenever the word enjoyed is used, it needs to be followed by a reflexive pronoun. So although I enjoyed my stay in the village with my friend is not wrong, I enjoyed myself during my stay in the village with my friend. Both of them can be considered. Right. The washing was neatly hanged on the clothesline. When you use the word hanged, you use it in context of living beings. You hang people till death. He was hanged till death. But when inanimate objects are simply latkofied, the past tense to use is hung. The washing was neatly hung on the clothesline. For a human being, we say hanged. For inanimate object like clothes, we simply say hung. What does the washing mean? The washing mean it's a term used to refer to clothes, the laundry. Clothes which were washed is called as washing. The term washing is used to refer to clothes that are washed. The washing was neatly hung. It literally means the clothes which were washed. I believe that respect is more preferable than wealth. Yes. Many are saying remove more. I believe that respect is more preferable than wealth की जगह पे I believe that respect is preferable than wealth. The error still remains. We do not say preferable than, we say preferable to. A is preferable to B, or A is preferred over B. With preferable, you do not use the conjunction than, the preposition than. I believe that respect is more preferable to wealth. Yeah, good. Right here. I never have visited or intend to visit foreign countries. Either के साथ और, never या neither के साथ nor. I never have visited nor intend to visit foreign countries. I have never visited, nor do I intend to visit. That is fine. But even if you say I have never visited, the or still remains incorrect. Keeping it I never have is not very bad, but or definitely needs to be replaced by nor. So changing the or to nor is the correction. If all of these were in the mock paper, to badhiya chase. Then those who have done this know the answer. Chalo. In this way, nuclear fission or the splitting of the atom have been achieved. Yes. Splitting of the atom, it's a singular event. Right? Nuclear fission, you're talking about one single event. So have been is for multiple. When you're talking about a singular event, you need a singular verb. So in this way, nuclear fission has been achieved. Or in this way, nuclear fission or splitting of the atom was achieved. That's fine. Have been achieved की जगह पे was achieved या has been achieved. Was achieved is when you're talking about something historical. When you are stating a scientific fact which is still an achievement, has been achieved is okay. Modern film techniques are far superior than those employed in the past. When doing these questions, I need to be very careful because automatically the correction comes to, it's very difficult to read out the incorrect part. Right? With superior, automatically, we don't say superior than. Just like you prefer to. Something is superior to something. So modern film techniques are far superior to those employed in the past. We don't say far superior than those. Far superior to those. Superior should be followed by to, not than. Is, Kavya, no. Techniques is plural. So modern film techniques are. Techniques is plural. So is cannot come. You get that, Kavya? Yeah. Dvija, how to know when to use to? Oh, this is called idiomatic usage, right? In English, idioms have they're just set like that. There is no grammatical rule because every idiom will have a specific preposition attached to it. So कहाँ पे क्या use करना है? There is no rule, except that it is the common way to use it. So it's only through practice that you will get these things. There is no rule which you can commonly follow. Every single one will have a different proposition. So for each of them, you just have to know it. With practice, the more you practice, the more you will come across these things. But there is no standard rule per se. That's why extensive reading is required in English. And that's why I always say math is easy, because math does not have exceptions. In mathematics, the rule is straightforward. Right? In English, there will be 20 rules, there will be 20,000 exceptions. Chalo. As I had to reach early, I left in aeroplane instead of going by train. Again, as I had to reach early, I left in aeroplane. Either you say I left by aeroplane, or you say I left in an aeroplane. As I had to reach early, I left in an aeroplane instead of going by train. Alternatively, you can also say as I had to reach early, I left by aeroplane instead of going by train. Both of them are okay. Yes, Aditya. But again, left by aeroplane, going by train, the parallelism doesn't perfectly work. It's not wrong. That's why I accept either one of them. And they will not give you both the corrections. Only one of these forms will be given to you as a correction. Had I come to know about his difficulties, I will certainly help him. Had I come to know, had, past perfect. Had I come to know about his difficulties, I would have certainly helped him. Right? Had I come to know, would have helped him. So that's the thing there. Had I come to know about his difficulties, I would have certainly helped him. She asked the dealer what was the price of that bicycle and whether it is really made in China. This is simple. Verbs. Asked, past tense. What was the price? Past tense. Whether it was really made in China. She asked the dealer what was the price of that bicycle and whether it was really made in China. Past tense everywhere. You are learning Bengali for the last 1 year, but you show no improvement whatsoever. We are talking about something which has started in the past and it is not a fact, right? So an ongoing act which has started in the past. You have been learning Bengali for the last 1 year, but you show no improvement whatsoever. Have been. You have been learning because it's an action which began in the past, right? And the activity is still going on. So you have been learning Bengali. Namra, see, the action of learning started in the past and even now you are doing it. So, have been learning. If you are doing something right now, but the starting point is not material, I am riding a horse. But when did I start? That is immaterial. So I say I am riding a horse. But if I started riding it in the morning, then I have been riding a horse since morning. So when the starting point is in the past and it is mentioned, you put have been. Now did you get the rule? Past continuous. Okay. The higher we climb up the mountain, the cooler we feel. The higher we climb up the mountain, the cooler we feel. Now, classic. Guys, climbing is not necessarily only up. You can also climb down a mountain. Right? Climbing is not necessarily only up. You also climb down a mountain. Climbing is basically the act of walking with both hands and feet. So climbing up and climbing down are different things. So the up is very much required. The up is very much required. The higher we climb up the mountain, the cooler we feel. Higher, cooler. Technically, no error whatsoever. There's no error in the sentence. You don't need any correction to this sentence. Grammatically, it is perfect. More cold. Vanshika, when a comparative form of an adjective is available, then more is not used. We don't say more pretty. We say prettier. Right? We don't say more warm. We say warmer. So cooler is fair enough. More cold nahi, cooler. You keep climbing higher, you start getting cooler and cooler. So that's correct. Ratan had hardly started reading the magazine than the managing director came to see him. When you're comparing objects, we say than. When you want to indicate time, we say when. Ratan had hardly started reading the magazine when the manager came to see him. With hardly, when you refer to time, you have to use when. Hardly and indicative of time, so we have to use when. Watch how carefully the sparrow knits the straws into one another to form a nest. Watch how careful the sparrow knits the straws into one another to form a nest. Yeah, it's an adverb. Right? How is it knitting? It is knitting carefully. So watch how carefully the sparrow knits the straws into one another. Adjective is fine, but when you are describing an action, it is an adverb, and the ly form is usually the adverb. So watch how carefully the sparrow knits the straws into one another. After toiling very hard over a long period, he found he had hardly made no profit at all. Okay, so the word hardly itself is a negative, right? We don't use a double negative. Hardly no profits is wrong. Hardly any profit. So, after toiling very hard over a long period, he found he had hardly made any profit at all. With hardly, the word no cannot be used. He had hardly made any profit, or he had hardly made a profit at all. Any or a, either one of them can replace the no. But with hardly in this, we cannot use no, it becomes a double negative, which is wrong. If he had heard of your marriage, he had been surprised. Yes. If he had heard of your marriage, he would have been surprised. Because it is conditional. If के साथ condition, if is the conditional, right? So would have been surprised is the correct form. If he had heard of your marriage, he would have been surprised. अगर तो. So that pretty much brings me to the end of the examples for the day. Pretty quickly we were able to go through them. I hope you have done the grammar exercises from the material which you already have and all the online things. So if there are any doubts, any queries, any questions, you can hang around and ask. Else we are done for the day. You may exit the session. Have a good day and stay safe.